Look at this. Speaking of not a nail in the coffin, the final nail in the cross of Jesus in the E-Crusaders. The Jewish B'nai B'rith, the parent company of Jonathan Greenblatt's ADL, honored the Pope in 1939, called him the greatest humanitarian of our... So, the Jews praising the Catholic Church for opposing paganism and racialism. What else do I have to say? B'nai B'rith, and I think the Masonic Lodge also, praising the Pope for opposing paganism and race idolatry. Pastor explains how Christians resisted the Nazi government.
For no particular reason, I have been researching Christians who resisted the Nazi government, and I found 3 ways that individuals resisted. The first is public witness, which we see through the example of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a Lutheran pastor who publicly preached against the Nazi regime. You probably know him for his public witness, which called out fascism and Hitler himself for being unchristian. Bonhoeffer said that the Christian's first loyalty should be to Christ, and that should take precedent over any national identity. This did not make him popular with the Nazi regime, and his public witness, along with his involvement in an assassination plot against Hitler, led to his martyrdom on April 9th. 1945. Not all Christians prefer public witness, and some spent their time saving as many people as possible. One of these Christians was Dom Bruno. Dom Bruno was a Belgian priest and monk who used his connections to save 400 Jews from capture by the Nazi regime. He worked with local government officials to forge documents, found homes for hundreds of Jewish children among sympathetic families, and collected donations to support his efforts.
The Nazi Christians are some of the most schizo people that lie and slander about me and spread and promote blatant disinfo. The lengths that they'll go to defend their Jewish rabbi, there's no lie too low that they won't do. They are pathological lying propagandists and smear merchants.
His abbey was raided by the Nazis in 1944, but thankfully he was away at the time, after which he went into hiding but still continued his work. Dom Bruno was recognized as one of the righteous among the nations and died in 1981. Many of those who resisted engaged in sabotage, like pouring sand into gasoline tanks or blowing up critical infrastructure. However, a small group decided that they needed to put an end to the Nazi regime by killing Hitler himself. Klaus von Stauffenberg was a practicing Catholic and part of the July 20th plot, a failed attempt to assassinate Hitler. He brought the bombs into a room with Hitler and was able to arm one of them and left for a prearranged phone call. Unfortunately, the bomb was moved by one of Hitler's aides, so it did not kill him. Instead, it killed 4 top Nazi officials and seriously wounded 9 others, but only perforated Hitler's eardrum. This was one of the many planned assassinations of Hitler by bomb, all of which failed. Now, I'm not saying these actions should inform how we act now, but I think it is fascinating to study the history of resistance and learn from what they did.
Yeah, maybe learn and just accept reality. Look here.